Hello, my friends. It's Dave Hilton, the Financial Conflict Coach. Well, I wanted to change things up a little bit today, and instead of recording this in my office, I decided to do it here in our kitchen. And the reason being is because something surreal just happened with a couple of my neighbors. We have a fence issue, or we've had a fence issue, where parts of our fence had started falling down. Now, we share parts of our fence with our neighbors, both the one behind us and the one over next to us here. And so they had talked to me before and talked to my wife about doing some work to fix up the fence and things like that. They know my schedule's a little odd, so they knew I couldn't help them. I helped them one day on part of the fence work. But I never really thought about the fact that whenever they found out that I was the financial conflict coach, that I help people by training, by doing negotiation training, by mediation, they think apparently that I am some sort of negotiation guru. Now, I'm far from a guru. I could point you out to all the books and the websites of the people who are real negotiation gurus, the people I've learned from. But apparently, in their heads, in their minds, my neighbors had determined that whenever they came to me with the figures and the amounts that we were going to have to pay because we fixed our fence, that they were going to have to convince me that that's how much it cost. Because just a few minutes ago, I had the doorbell rang, and when I answered, it was both of my neighbors. They were both standing there, and they said, "Can we come in for a minute? We want to go over some of these figures." So they had broke all of the expenses down, all the expenses for all of the parts and the labor and all of that stuff. Now, I would have been quite content and happy with paying a couple $100 because the fence was fixed. And they came up with a grand total. It was like $92 and some odd cents. But apparently my wife, just in the description of what I do and how I help people with the financial conflict coach, they thought I was going to be difficult, that they were going to have to convince me, that they were going to have to negotiate with me to be able to get my portion of the money that I owed to fix the fence. Now, I haven't really talked much about them directly about this. Only my wife, I guess, had told stories about what I do and how I help people. But it was just so surreal because here you have both of my neighbors who I've talked to quite a bit who seemed frightened of me, frightened to even talk to me. And it just made me want to record this to share with you the power of knowing how to negotiate. Just letting someone know that you know how to negotiate changes the game, especially if they don't know. That's why it is extremely important that you learn how to negotiate. Now, negotiation doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be boring. It doesn't have to be all terms and all the stuff that you dread having to learn or figure out or memorize or all that stuff. Negotiation is fun. It's a game. Now, with these two guys, I wouldn't have negotiated. I didn't plan on negotiating. In fact, I wrote a check for more than I owed because I was just grateful that they had more spare time than I did to do most of the work. So I was happy to pay that. So that's one of the things of why it's so important to learn how to negotiate, because the interests, the desires of the other party, you a lot of times have no idea what that is. They might be willing to pay a lot more like I was, and yet these two guys thought that I was going to try to get them down from the $92 and however many cents that they said that we owed as our portion of it. So that's why it's important to learn, and that's why I'm doing this series here on the Financial Conflict Coach website about why negotiation should be fun. Totally surreal, sitting here at our dinner table and having those guys going over their spreadsheets and all the receipts, and I was thinking, why are these guys showing all this to me? And it wasn't until after I talked to my wife that I realized that these guys think that I'm a tough negotiator, which when it's important, I can be. But in a case like this, I would have paid more than I actually owed just because they did most of the work. I would have paid them for their time. So that's why I think it's important that you learn how to negotiate, and that's why I'm going to help you learn how to negotiate with this Negotiation is Fun series that I'm doing right now on the Financial Conflict Coach. Now, if you ever need my help with the negotiation, if you want to learn how to be a tough negotiator, I can help you with that. But if you just want to learn how to negotiate something as simple as getting a better deal on an appliance or negotiating a car, I can help you with that. Sometimes you have to be tough, but most of the time, you don't have to be. So look for more in that series, Negotiation is Fun, here on the Financial Conflict Coach. Thanks for watching.